My Hebrew Israelites, brothers and sisters, 12 tribes of Israel scattered all over the earth. Welcome back. This is your Moray, Dr. Yeshua, and we just want to say to you, my brothers and my sisters, that we appreciate you so much. Thank you for your subscriptions, for your likes and your comments, and we continue to ask you to talk to your friends and loved ones and encourage them to be a part of this ministry. Ask them to subscribe and like, send the comments, and if they have a relationship with Yahuwah, ask them to pray for me too. Praise his holy name. My brothers and my sisters, we just want to thank Yahuwah for his love and his mercies, and all of the different issues that are facing our people all over the earth. We need to come to this place in our lives where we realize, my brothers and my sisters, that we're not our own. We have been bought with a price. Therefore, we belong to Yahuwah. And he will not leave us alone. He said he will not leave us nor forsake us. My brothers and my sisters, when we pass through the fire, when we pass through the waters, he promises that he will never let us go alone. Say, even when I pass through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Praise his holy name. And say, David been having real issues with his enemies and his acquaintances. When we, in the last session, we were in verse 11. And we did not quite complete the verse. And so we want to talk about that. Because remember we said he was approached by all his enemies, and especially among his neighbors. And fear, the fear of him, of his acquaintance, is his fear of his acquaintance. They did see him without, and they fled, they ran. So the word acquaintance, we didn't quite deal with the word acquaintance here, but the word acquaintance here is someone that you know. Someone you may not necessarily know your neighbors, okay? You may know about your neighbors, or you may have information about your neighbors, but your acquaintance, someone who you know, somebody who's close to you, and so the word yada here is to know. Yada is to know. And it is Yod, Dalet, and Ayin, and it means to know, right? Acquaintance is somebody that you know, right? And what he's saying here is somebody that acknowledge you, or you acknowledge a person. You're acquainted with a person, someone who sometimes you can give advice to, and sometimes you get advice from that person. Someone, you can ask a question and they answer you, or they can ask you a question and you answer them. Someone who you can appoint, to a certain task. Sometimes they appoint you to a certain task. Assuredly, my brothers and sisters, you are aware of the person. The primitive root here means to know, to a certain, by seeing, used in a great variety of senses, by observation, care, recognition, instruction, sometimes, designation, punishment, acknowledgement, acquaintance, acquainted with, someone who somebody who knows you, somebody who you have a knowledge of the person, It's like you're giving a reference to someone, or someone giving a reference to you. The person is acquainted with you. The person know you. In other words, the person know your character. Okay? The person know your whereabouts. The person know that you're an upright person, right? Is aware of the fact that you're an upright person. And this person can declare, you know, this person can be diligent in the fact that, you know, they know you, and you know, it can be a kinfolk, you know, it can be a kinsman, you know, and have knowledge of you. You know, this person can make, you know, the person know about you, learn of you, you know, and in a sense, he marked you. In a sense, you have certain qualities, you know, and certain skills, and can surely, in other words, the person can stand surety for you, you know. And I can tell, and yeah, because the person understand you know, who you are, and understand some of your ways, you know, and so on, and know what you stands for, that, you know, so they can vouch for you, they can recommend you, you know, because they know exactly who you are, right? So in verse 12, I am forgotten. It's like you know, it's like it's not getting better, right? It's like it's not getting better. He said, I am forgotten. And how is he forgotten? He said he's forgotten as a dead man. Out of mind. A dead man out of mind. In a word, you know, man, and you think about who I am, I am dead. I am like a broken vessel, he said. Man. The word dead man, dead man here, it's talk about the word muth, you know. Muth is mem and vav and tav, you know. And when you talk about muth here, you know, tav, you know, it has a th sound, you know, tav, and it is to know, yada, to know. And oh yeah, yes, he says is forgotten, this man. Yeah, so he's forgotten. So over there in acquaintance, it you know, it was Yod, Dalet, and Ayin. And here is saying he's knowing, right? It's acquaintance with him. And now in 12 he said, I am forgotten as a dead man. Move to die. Mem, Mem, Vav, and Tav. You know, it's like I say, I'm a dead man. Move. And it means the word there basically means to die. In accordance, it's like crying, be dead, body. Be a dead man. One, you know, put to, so in other words, I am worthy of death. I am destroyed. Send the destroyer. You know, it have come from a primitive root to die, you know, literally or figuratively, you know, to kill at all, or, you know, crying, be dead. You know, dead body, dead man, one put two are worthy of death, to destroy because, you know, of whatever. He said, this person is like, you hear people talking and say, he must die. He must die. Put him to death. Try him. Judge. He must die. Sometimes, you know, in the court, you know, yeah, the prosecutor telling the judge and telling the juries that this man did something wrong and he must die. He must die for his sin, you know, for his, you know, whatever he did, you know, kill him. and then in the spiritual world, you talk about necromancer, you know, necromancer, must needs slay us surely, very suddenly, in no wise this person should be living. He must die. Put him to death. Put him to death. And but notice what he said here. He said, I am forgotten as a dead man, out of mind. Out of mind. Okay. I am like a broken vessel. Out of mind. Look at the word out of mind there, because the word out of mind here is the word lab, you know. You know, it is lamed and bait, lab. Of course, it has the vowels notations, but here, my brothers and my sisters, is saying that lab, it means, it refers to the inner man, or the mind, or the will, or the heart. Okay, and comfortably considered courageous. Sometimes you hear people talk about he has a courageous heart, or a friendly heart, or a hard heart, or a good heart, you know, friendly broken heart. Sometimes people say he died of a broken heart, you know, and so. Sometimes people say he has a hard heart. You know, what this word comes from, labab, means the heart, are used figuratively in a very wide sense, you know, for the feelings, or the will, or even, you know, the intellect. Likewise, my brothers and my sisters, for the center of anything, you know. So here he talks about, you know, the courageous, you know, friendly, broken heart, merry heart, stiff, stout heart. Sometimes people say they have a double heart. When they say a person say I have a double heart, it means, you know, this person is say one thing, and they go over there and he changes it and do something else, and say something else. You know, person, you know, unaware. Sometimes the word understanding, they have an understanding heart. So willing heart, a heart full of wisdom, you know, something like that. Okay. And so basically what he's saying here, that, you know, he's out of mind, and he said, I'm like a broken vessel. You know, a broken vessel cannot hold anything, right? A broken vessel cannot hold anything. You may be able to put a little bit of food on a broken plate, but when a glass is broken, you can't drink out of it because it's broken. And you put it on your mouth, you may cut your mouth. Nothing can hold in it if it's broken. If it crack, sometimes, you know, is it different with a crack than something being broken? Okay, all right. So, you know, it's like a broken vessel. He's like a broken vessel. And here, my brothers and my sisters, in verse 13, this is what he said. For I have heard the slander of many. I've heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side while they took counsel together against me. They devised to take my, to take away my life. Okay, let's look at this verse here. For I have heard the slander of many. The word I've heard here is the same word that's used for Shama, hear, O Israel. Shama, the word there, means heard also. I've heard. And it means to hear, the word Shama is a Shin, Mem, and Ayin. And what is saying here is to hear, to hear attentively, to call, to gather together carefully, certainly, to consent, to consider, my brothers and my sisters. By implication, just like calling attention to, so obedience to, to tell, attentively, to call, to gather carefully, certainly, to consent, to consider, be content, or to declare diligently, my brothers and my sisters, or to discern, or to give ear, and, to let, or to make, to hear, ken, there's a word here, to tell, indeed, to listen, to be obedient, to obey, to perceive, my brothers and my sisters, to proclaim, to publish, regard, to understand, to give out a good report, sound the alarm, surely to tell and to understand. Whosoever heareth, my brothers and my sisters, to be a witness. It's the word heard there. And so, listen what it said. I've heard the slander. The slander. You know what, my brothers and sisters? Sometimes, like when I was young, I heard people in my community, they were saying things, you when you don't know and you hear something, you kept wondering what it means, But there are many people in the community that now I understand as I grow older and start looking back and see what, that these people, they carry on from their background, what they've heard the parents and loved ones and different people talk about. And there are people, at that time my mom would use certain words like I mentioned before, that she used certain Hebrew words. And she used certain Aramaic words. But as I go older now, I start realizing, here were the people that were taken, the Hebrew Israelite people that were speaking, the Hebrew, and they were taken into captivity, into a land where they were forced to learn Aramaic to a point where some of them, sometime by the time they get back into the land, they forget all about Hebrew, and they probably know a few words, but generation pass and generation comes and learn, and so a new generation come back into the land and we have to learn Hebrew again. Yeah, but I used to hear people say, Diba! I said, what is it talking about? And then, because in Jamaica you have patois, which is a language now in Jamaica, but at that time they used to say it was a dialect. Some people say you speak bad English, broken English, but Diba is not broken English. Diba is a Hebrew word, right? And the people would say it because it means something, to them. Slander. And people going on slander. Oh, you going to go on a Deba. Slander me. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's all you do. You slander people, you know. Deba, you know. And that's what I was saying here. We thought it was just a patois word, you know, like one of the words that they made up in the language. Because in Jamaica, the patois was supposed to be... it came about when you have different from broken English. Because they speak broken English. They get a crash course in English. The slave masters didn't, and European didn't want them to speak their language. So they tried to give them a quick course in English, and so they mixed it in, dialect, with the African language or with the Hebrew, mixing a little bit with some English in there, and so it kind of sound different, And when you look at these words, you realize that these are really, really Hebrew words. They are really Hebrew words. But my brothers and my sisters, Deba means slander. I've heard the slander of many. We're going to stop here and come back to this verse because we're not going to have enough time to finish this session and, and the time allotted here. So we'll come back to this. And we're going to ask you, my brothers and my sisters, to be a blessing to someone and walk with the King. Shalom.